Hello there, my friends. How's it going? I am the Average Guy 1983. How you guys doing? As you guys already seen in the title, I'd like to show you guys how I actually put this router table together. I do like to apologize in advance because I forgot to show the footage of how I put the motor into the Jessem router lift 2 plate. So I do apologize for that. But there are other videos out there on YouTube with different brands of routers that people have already done. When they turn the thing upside down and they put it together, they pretty much show you everything, because that's what I had to do in order to put mine on too. So other than that, I really like this router table. It's very solid. When I turned on the router, it didn't really make any noise. It was just the motor itself and no buzzing sound from like shaky plastic vibrating like the other table from Husky. So I'm very happy with this almost $1,100 router table. So I'm looking forward to using it for future videos. As you guys can see, I already have my Glide Gear OH100 and set up. I am going to have to figure out how to get this a little bit closer because it's a little like too much sticking out from the sides, but I'll figure that part out. But other than that, one side of the basement is now completed. Now I have to work on the opposite side, which is where you're looking at, and get that part rolling. So I might actually have the opportunity to get done by the ending of November, which is great. So thank you so much for your patience. I know that my channel is a hobby and I don't have content on all the time. So whenever you guys watch anything and give the videos a thumbs up, it always helps me out a lot. So thank you so much. Other than that, have a good one. Peace. Alrighty, my friends, so what this table consists of is the legs, the table itself that you see in here, and then also the router lift 2 kit that comes with these little discs to cover the router from like dust, and then this power switch to be able to use the router and a vacuum or shop vac at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and move all of this over to the side, and we're going to start with unboxing the legs first, and then from there we're going to assemble the legs, then assemble the tabletop on top of the legs, and then the router lift will be last place after putting this up as well. So let's go ahead and get to the rest of the video. Alrighty, so this is the legs. The part number for it is 05005. So let's go ahead and remove the contents out of the box and start assembling the legs. Alrighty, so what you get is 32 screws, 32 washers, an Allen wrench, an owner's manual with the assembly guide, and a registration paperwork. You then get the 4 legs with those rubber feet on it. You get front and rear, left and right top support beams, lower front and rear, left and right support beams with the Jessem badge for the front. Alrighty, my friends, so to start assembling this legs, we have to make sure that we have 4 washers with us, 4 bolts, because that's going to go here. There are some threaded holes here on the front panel and on the side. You want to make sure that on these legs, for the front, these are faced forward, and the other side of the holes that are threaded are on the opposite side on each side. Because for this part, we're going to have to use this front Jessem emblem badge thingy here, and we're going to put it right on top, just like this. And we're going to align them with the holes, just like that. And then we're going to put a washer and a bolt that you guys can kind of see there. And we're going to start screwing each one just to make sure that you don't strip the hole. Make sure you reverse it until you hear a click sound. That means that it's settled in. Once it's settled in, then you can go ahead and start turning it just like that. I'm going to do these by hand and then tighten them up with the Allen wrench. But first, I just want to like do everything by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. Take care of the other ones because that's exactly how you're going to have to do the entire set. And we'll go ahead and tighten it up. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and show you this, even though this is pretty easy. Just grab one here like this. Insert the screw, put it in here, turn it counterclockwise till you hear it click. There you go. And then start tightening it up by hand. Just like that. Let me do the other ones now. Alrighty, so now we're repeating the same thing with the back. So again, just make sure that the screws are nice and aligned, and then you just turn the knob just like that. Same thing here. Look at how easy that is. That's exactly how this should be. Now again, we're supposed to hand tighten this first. We don't use the Allen wrench until the end. Once everything is fully assembled, then we can go ahead and start tightening things up with the Allen wrench. So let's continue on to the next parts. Alrighty, my friends, so now what we got to do is just grab these rear legs, turn them the opposite way, like if we were facing this against the wall. And now we can go ahead and start attaching the other parts that need to go on. Alrighty, my friends, so what we want to do now is we want to have these rear legs on the side. We're going to attach the side bottom portion now. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the screws, and we're going to use the washers, and we're going to attach this side panel to the legs now. So again, same way, man. Put it here and then just tighten it up. Make sure you counterclock it first to make sure that you align it with the hole so you don't strip the screw hole. And once you have it perfectly aligned, it should be super easy to tighten up by hand, just like that. I'm gonna do the second one now. There we go. And if it doesn't tighten up that well, then you need to do it over. Alrighty, just like that. So now the only thing I need to do now is just do the same thing on the opposite side. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty much how it should look like. So this is the rear of the legs. Now we have to attach the front again to the top there. So I'm gonna have to take this off the table because the table's a little too small, so I can't finish assembling it there. But I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the rest. It's pretty much the same exact way for everything. Then we're going to apply the top of the table to the legs. Alrighty, my friends, so now here's the bottom portion completed. So now what we have to do is attach the top part, front and rear first, and then the sides. Do the same deal. Grab your 4 washers and your 4 bolts, and we're going to go ahead and attach the top trim. So again, this top trim that you see here goes exactly how you see it, in this direction, like this. If you have this part facing down in this direction, you did it incorrectly. It needs to be like this, where the holes are at, because these holes are going to be having the table sitting on top of it. So let's go ahead and attach that now, and we'll keep going. All right, let's go ahead and get our washer and our screws or bolts. We'll start off with one first, and then we're going to go ahead and put this right here like this. See that? Just like that, and attach the screw. There you go. Just like that. And remember, it's hand tightening first. Once we have it hand tightened, then we can start with tightening it better by hand, because I also have to attach that other part just now. See, here we go. Hopefully you guys were able to see that. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so I've already attached the front here. Here's the other side as well. But the only thing I forgot was to attach this Jessem PowerTech switch. So I have to remove these 2 little bolts here. So thankfully I only hand tightened them. So this should be pretty easy to do. Unscrew. Unscrew and re-screw them back on with this. So let me grab a bolt and a washer, put it in there, put it on here, and then retighten it up again. All right, cool. So that took a little bit because it kept coming out of place. There we go. Remember, always turn your screws counterclockwise so that you won't strip the hole of these screws. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so we have officially added the power tech switch. So it's still on the loose side, but we still have to, you know, finish tightening it up with the Allen wrench. So I'm going to finish the rest of the back, and we'll go ahead and come back and start attaching the top plate. Oh wow, these are actually counted quite well. There is no spares. Whoa. Okay, well that's good to know. On these screws here, there's no spares. 32 bolts, 32 washers is exactly what you get for this. There is no spares. Kind of good and bad. Good because at least you have everything. Bad because what if you you strip your screw by accident? I don't consider that necessarily good. You guys got to add some spare parts, my Canadian friends. Spare washers, spare bolts. I mean, not that I can't go to Home Depot nearby or Lowe's and buy the same bolts and washers. I'm pretty sure I could find these there as well, sold in maybe packs of 3 or 10. But here we go. Doesn't look all that great right now. It looks a little crooked and wobbly, but that's because we have to now align it and tighten it up. So that should be really fun. Let's go ahead and see what else it is that we have to do for this part. For this part of the legs is pretty much done. We just have to align it and start attaching the top. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to attach the table plate to the router table legs, and let's see how that goes, because there's a bunch of holes on it and I need to make sure that it's properly aligned, because even though I've already tightened this up, it still looks kind of crooked. So I'm not sure how well it's going to be aligned on the table. I might have to loosen up the bolts to properly align the table with that, and we'll just see how that goes. Alrighty, my friends, so for the sake of this video and the easiest way to install this router table, or to put all of this together, we need to make sure that we follow the directions down to the letter. This is, you know, something that I'm technically new to as well. This is the first time I ever own a Jessem product to begin with. So remember how in the beginning of the video I told you that you have to have all of these just hand tighten, all the screws that are around the entire legs, just hand tighten and loose? There's a reason for that. And that's to be able to attach it to this table. In my case, I think it's a really smart idea that I'm doing it like this. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you how you just put on the screws. It's very simple. So let me go ahead and readjust the camera, and I'll show you guys how to do that right now. Alrighty, my friends, so with this table here, what you get is just a bag of screws, and each screw has a some kind of a Torx head, and you get a Torx screwdriver. That's all you get. So we have to align these 4 pieces all across the table here, and we have to screw them down. What you want to do is, since these are also pre-drilled, you want to counterclock, start with the edge, align the edge as much as you can. There you go. And start attaching the screw. Hopefully you guys can see that. Just like that. And then I would also recommend doing the edge here on this side and pull this a little bit back just so that it can align. You see how it just dropped down just now? So then we counterclock it, and if it doesn't move, it's precision right. and we can go ahead and tighten it down. Just like that. And now we got to do the other 2 screws here. There we go. See that one locked into place and kind of almost stripped. And one thing I just learned about Jessem is that they provide you exactly with the right amount of screws, no less, no more. So if you screw ahead, like strip it, you're going to have to go to your local hardware store and buy a replacement. Got a mosquito there trying to Capri Sun juice me. All right, so there we go. Now all I have to do now is repeat the same steps with this side here and then this side over here, and this part of the table is done. Then I can start tightening up the rest of this and realign the legs because they look a little crooked. Alrighty my friends, so we have already attached the tabletop to the legs. Everything has now been officially tightened up. So from this small experience here, I think it's best to just go ahead and do pretty much exactly what the manual says about just only tightening up the screws with your fingers before using the Allen wrench, and also not over torquing the Allen wrench screws on the base here, because the holes can actually strip and cause some issues for you. So I was able to attach the table. After I attached the table to the frame, I went ahead and I tightened up the bolts from the bottom first and then the top here, which technically this would be the bottom once you flip the table over. But this is done. So the last thing that we need to do now is apply the Jessem router lift table plate to the actual tabletop, and then attach the DeWalt DW618 router that I have on my little Husky, you know, little mini table thing, and we'll see how it goes from there. So let's go ahead and bring this into the basement now, because it's getting dark out here and I'm getting chewed up by mosquitoes, and we'll take care of the rest in there. Let's go. Alrighty my friends, so this is already the router table completed. I am so sorry you can't see it any further away. Unfortunately, this is part of the whole 4K 60 crop deal, and I'm about as far as I can be from my camera. But here's the one that it's replacing, like you guys already seen before. This one right here is the router table that is going to be replaced. Now again, there's nothing 100% wrong with using this small table. This thing is only $99 plus tax, and you can attach multiple different kinds of routers to it. The problem I had with this one is that this little edge here starts to kind of sink in whenever the router gets hot from the motor, and it gets the materials to get stuck around this area right here, and it was getting annoying. So I wanted something more sturdier, so I found this. Now this router table was about $1,100 with all the pieces together, and whether you buy it in a kit or you buy it separately, I found out that it still comes at the same price. So you're not getting anything cheaper if you buy a kit versus each part separately from different stores. Kind of have to shop around if you want to try to find things cheaper, but right now with price increases of everything, you know, it's beginning to be a real challenge. So here's the router plate here from Jessem. This is the This is the Route R Lift 2 router plate. Here we go. A little tongue twister there for me. And I'm going to be attaching the DeWalt DW618 motor to it right now, so that I can be able to just lay it down flat here like this, and then attach all the screws, and then, you know, get this thing rolling. Now this thing is a little sunk in, so I'm gonna have to go around with the screws for the router and then try to like lift up this plate, and hopefully this stays on good. Well, alrighty my friends, we are just about done with this. I had to attach the motor underneath. This part was a little bit harder to do than I thought it was gonna be, and I have all the little screws that go in here to align the plate. So the last thing I need to do here is just make sure that this plate is aligned evenly across the board. So let's see how this comes out. I'm gonna go ahead and just pause the video here. I'm gonna grab these extra Allen wrench keys, which are required to put the rest of this together. This smaller one is the one that has to attach to the locks right here in order to be able to align it right. So let's go ahead and get to that. Alrighty, my friends, so we're almost at the end of this. What I have to do now is just align the base plate here to the table to make sure that nothing gets stuck as things are moving. So I kind of got it. I still got to move it around. I have to use the small little Allen wrench key that you see here in order for me to be able to screw down each little like screw and level things up. So I'm going to try to take care of that right now. And then these are the last screws that are going to go on, which are these black ones here. They go here on these edges where my finger is pointing at, so that this way the router stays in place and it won't move anymore, and all I have to do now is just enjoy it for what it is. So let me go ahead and get to that, and I will go ahead and continue on this video. Alrighty, my friends, so now we are pretty much already done. I have straightened out the router plate on the table, and now everything looks aligned. There are a couple of things I don't like about this table, even though it's already been aligned. For example, I have this little piece of plastic here, which from Mobile Solutions. What I don't like is that some of these little edges, like for example right here in the center, it gets a little stuck and I can't lower that down any further, or the screw comes out too much. But over here it runs smoothly, but here it gets stuck, and I'm not sure why that's happening, but it's all right. I mean, I can get over that. The table looks awesome, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom out for you guys real quick and show you guys pretty much from afar what this looks like, just so you guys can get an idea. So there is the top plate of basically the router table and this Glide Gear OH100 that I want to use. Kind of wish that this was a little bit wider instead of where it's at, because this makes this Glide Gear stick out about a good 3/4 of an inch from each side, and that's kind of dangerous. So I'm gonna have to figure something out about this and fix it so that whenever I do the next project on, you know, speaker rings or anything like that for the door panels on my Park Avenue, I gotta make sure that I can record things and make things look as proper as possible. But this is pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys real quick how this machine starts up. It's very simple. So let's go ahead and reposition the camera and we'll get going from there. Alrighty, so we're just gonna do a little test. We're just gonna turn on the router table. It's at the lowest setting, but this is just to give you pretty much an idea of how this looks and how much more stable it is and less noisy. Check this out. Now that's at full power. And you can see how much easier things are going to be sliding in and out when I start cutting. This is awesome. See that? It's amazing how well stable this router table is compared to the old one. However, the old one I'm not going to ignore, which I have here. This one's a nice little set that you can use outdoors. The one that I have here can be permanent, so it's pretty cool. Overall, this is pretty much it for the unboxing and assembly of this Jessem router table that I have here. And overall, I really like it. I mean, if you take a look at it, it's very nice looking. It is very well made, and I think this is a great addition to the fab kitchen. So anyways, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm sorry if I left any other parts out. Aligning this part of the table was really difficult because of the little tiny screws, but I was able to manage to get it pretty much 90% the way I want to have it. I can deal with the rest, so it's not a big deal. Again, any questions about this almost $1,100 router table, please let me know. That's not including the DeWalt DW618 router motor, by the way. This is just the table itself with the legs, the switch, and the plate, and the accessory kit that came with it. Whether you buy this separately or you buy this in a kit, you're gonna pay about $1,100. I'm in the US, in Los Angeles, California, so I paid US pricing, and most of my stuff came from woodcraftsupply.com or something like that. So yeah, one piece at a time. Anyways, that's it. Thank you so much. Hope you guys liked it. Please hit the thumbs up button on the video. It'll help out with the algorithm and let other people know about this video. Thanks guys, have a good one.